Hey y'all, welcome back to Calvin's Corner 72. Wanted to read this sign here for one of my good friends, Brooksy. I'm going to post a picture of it as well, but I wanted to read it so that, because he couldn't see some of the other ones I did. I'm at Red Clay Council Grounds. It was from 1832 to 1838 where they kept the Indians. They were rounding up in the southeast on the Trail of Tears. This is one of the stops. And anyways, here is the capital and the last council ground of the Cherokee Nation in the east. At a full council held in October 1835, a proposed treaty with the United States providing for the removal of the Cherokee to the Indian Territory, now Oklahoma, was overwhelmingly rejected. John Howard Payne, author of Home Sweet Home and a champion of Indian rights, attended the council, which also was also attended by a number of prominent United States and Cherokee officials. The council ground stood east of the Great Council Spring. Brigadier General John E. Wool and his detachment of troops camped at the large spring about 1/4 mile east, observing the meetings of the Cherokees in the council. 4 miles northeast at Flint Springs was the last home in the east of John Ross, principal chief of the Cherokee Nation. I've been there before. I've not been in the house, but I've been there before. 25 miles from here on Highway 411 south of Benton is the grave of Nancy Ward, a beloved woman of the Cherokee, and I've been there before as well. I will be visiting these places and doing more video of this. It's humbling to see what all this had happened here. It's a wonderful place. But at the same time, it's sad to know that what happened happened. This is a visitor center. You can go and actually go in a museum. They have a bunch of artifacts. This is where they have their council when they come down here, and they play their stickball and everything down here. It's really nice. I'm going to come back this spring when they have that, and you'll use that as a comparison. This is the eternal flame of the Cherokee Nation. This fire is a memorial to those people who suffered and died on the infamous Trail of Tears. It also commemorates the reuniting of the Eastern and Western Cherokee Nations here at Red Clay, August 17, 1837 through April the 6th, 1984. This flame is always burning. It never stops. This is the Blue Hole Spring, believed to have been the source of water for the councils of 1832 to 1837. Cherokee believe there is another world under this, and it is like ours in everything, animals, plants, and people, save that the seasons are different. The streams that come from the mountains are the trails by which we reach the underworld, and the springs at their headways are the doors by which we enter it. But to do this, one must fast and go to water and have one of the underground people for a guide. We know that the seasons in the underworld are different from ours because the water in the springs is always warmer in the winter and cooler in the summer than the outer air, as I'm fixing to show you in this video. the late 1880s, James Mooney called the legends and myths such as this as the Cherokee myth keeper's swimmer. Mooney writes, first, and the chief of the last of the storytellers comes a Uni swimmer. His mind was a storehouse of Indian tradition. Swimmer gave nearly 3/4 of the material and myths of the Cherokee and sacred formulas to the Cherokees to Mooney. Swimmer, he lived from 1835 to 1899, was trained to be a priest, doctor, and keeper of tradition. He spoke only in Cherokee throughout his adult life. He wore moccasins, a turban, and carried his badge of authority and rattle. That's something I want to do as well, make a rattle. But here's the spring, which they call Blue Hole. And I don't know if this video is going to do it any justice, but that water is super blue. I don't know if you can see that from this angle, but I want to let you see that there is smoke coming off the water, because it is warmer than the outside temperature of 19 degrees as it is right here where I'm standing. That's a beautiful, beautiful holly tree. There's 2 of them right here at the edge of the springs. Let's go down and check it out. This hole is a hole. As you can see, there's a high rim all the way around. And there's the hole. The water is super, super blue. It's beautiful. Very beautiful place. Water flows under this footbridge, which they have benches out here. And this is the beginning of a trail that goes all the way down through the woods. Very beautiful. There is flint, fresh broken flint along this creek. I've seen it before firsthand, trust me. And there's a trail that walks through the woods. Guys, this is new to me here. I've never seen this before. This is must have been put up last year. The mask and design to the right symbolize the 7 Cherokee clans. Clans have historically been the most important social entity, defining relational and social, religious, and political structure among the Cherokee people. The number 7 is considered sacred, just like it is with Jesus. Family relationships among the Cherokee are all meaningful relationships are traced through their women. Within clans, the mother's siblings, and the children are considered to be the children's only kinsmen. The mother's brother teaches and disciplines her children, as the father is not considered to be a blood relative. One could not marry within his or her clan, and roles in society as well as political alignment were determined by the clan. This family structure is continued from ancient times to the varying degrees, although in varying degrees, with some Cherokee people living traditionally, while others in both worlds maintaining remnants of ancient tradition with a blend of current culture. The mask carvings shown here are carved from sycamore tree that thrived for over 150 years before being hit by lightning in 2012. This event was significant in Cherokee culture. According to the legend, the first fire was created by the Thunders, who, in order to warm the cold world, sent lightning and put fire into the bottom of a sycamore tree. Park staff and Cherokee artist John Grant came up with a plan to create a unique carving that would showcase the 7 clans of the Cherokee people according to the artist's vision. That is amazing. And there it is in Cherokee language right on it. What the name of the I think it's the wolf. So it would be Waya, Lone Wolf, Long Raven Wolf. I'm sure you'd really like that and enjoy that. These are like masks. Wild potato. Let me zoom in on these so maybe I can get a better view of this. I'm hoping this comes across good for everyone. This is a wonderful place. If you ever have time to come to Georgia and visit it. I'm sorry for the shakiness. I'm walking around here. I'm in just as much awe as y'all are about this right now, because there's the deer. So I'm assuming that one was the color blue. This is bird. And I'm trying to learn Cherokee language, but I don't know how to pronounce it right. So I just try not to. Long hair. These are some of the cabins that they stayed in. They were called sleeping huts. Not much to them, but I can imagine it was better than not having nothing. Dirt Dauber City. Dirt floors. And look at there. Oh, shadow man come say hey. Well, I'm about as wide as this door. I got to put this video in. I got to quit eating. Looks like nature found a way. Look at there. Little bird found a place to hang out. Yep. Look at that. The door with a wooden knob, with a wooden hinge. It's pretty cool, huh? Hope y'all really are liking this, because this is a lot of fun to me. Alright guys, I've got my arm stuck in the door here and I'm trying to do some recording of the old-timey cabin here. This is a replica of what it used to be back in the days. The chinking in the logs, the spinner wheel, and I want to see if I can zoom in on this. You see that rope on the bottom of the bed? What that says to me? Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. They had bed bugs back in the days. And to sleep tight, that bed actually has ropes on the bottom of it going across the middle. And that was your mattress. And it would sag over time. And so at the very end there's a stick. And you put it in the rope and you twist it. And you tighten up your ropes, which makes your bed go back up. Therefore, you don't sag and get down to where the bed bugs can get to you. So they always said, the old saying is, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. That's where it come from. Didn't know if y'all knew that or not. Look at that. All this cool stuff in here. The old table over there. Y'all can pause the video and check this out. I'm sorry, I'm hoping I can get it all in here. Little big logs at the top. Let me move over here. They have to have this barred up or people will come in here and try to get things, which is very sad. But there's an old wooden bowl. There's the hearth, the fireplace, as it would be back in the 1700s. I think this is amazing how they've redone all this. There's a baby crib way over in the corner. If you can see that or not, right there next to the pot, made out of wood. It's awesome. Oh, and there's something I seen Carolina Chris make. It's a wooden rake. That's pretty cool, with the old trap hanging on it. And the wooden doors, the frames, how the window frames, you know how they fixed them up where they got. It's pretty cool. Like this one right here. Them old wooden pegs. That's how they did their shutters. Isn't that cool? Alright, y'all. I'm going to conclude the video right here, but I tell you, this is awesome. This is an awesome place. If you ever have a chance to come and see this place, you need to do it. I was told that this tree, when it fell over, they've done cut it up. When this tree fell over, there was a woman down here that was looking around at the roots of it and actually found an arrowhead and give it to the park ranger, and it's now on display in the park museum, which is very, very close to this spring. There's these huge beech trees out here. As you can see, people put markings on them and things, sort of like the Indians used to do back in the day. They would put symbols on these beech trees because they lived for many years. And they would hold the symbols and signs that sometimes would lead to treasure. But look, growing out of the ground. Look at this vine. Look how huge. Look at this thing. It goes all the way to the top of the tree. That's a muscadine vine. I mean, they're huge. Look at it. There's more. But they just grow right out of the ground and weave their way all the way up to the tree. They've been there for many years, all the way to the very top. I just think it's really cool. These are some replicas of the old houses that people used to stay in at the time. Frontier houses. This is an actual replication of the council house that the Cherokees used. And it is built back on the very spot that the original council house was. As best they could tell, this is where it was original was at. And it's pretty neat. I mean, it's just amazing. These big old logs cut and made into benches, which is kind of what I'd like to do at the house. I think it's really neat. I thought y'all would like to see that. This little area right here, and I don't know if y'all notice this or not, but I see this all the time in the woods near springs. But you see this little depression in the ground where these trees are around it? Some people call them sinkholes, and it very well could be what it is. But the Cherokees used to use these as amphitheaters. You'd have a person standing in the bottom and all the people sitting around, if you can imagine. and the one in the bottom would be telling the story, and everybody would be sitting around watching him. They actually do that here. That's why they have the benches. But I see this in several different places near my home, that I've seen these very same depressions. And strangely, the trees and all are still around it. I don't know if it's because the farmers said, hey, that is something we don't want to fool with, or hey, that's a sinkhole, just, I don't know. But I think it's really neat, and I wanted to point that out. So if y'all see something like that, just realize that could be an amphitheater like the Cherokees used. This is another sign, Red Clay Council. Between 1828 and 1830, Georgia passed laws prohibiting the Cherokees from meeting in any purpose other than to sign a treaty and giving up their land, which I think is pretty sorry. The council that had been meeting in the Cherokees' capital, New Echota, Georgia. Sorry guys, I got ice on it. Met once in Alabama in 1831 and then moved here to Red Clay in 1832. The council meeting here just before removal, 1838. 3 archaeological investigations between 1973 and 76 failed to determine the exact location. So I back up and say that that wasn't the exact, but it's very close. The reconstruction is based on the only eyewitnesses' report of the structure from the period of the councils in the 1830s. The description identified by the council house as a simple parallelogram formed of logs with open sides with benches for the councilors. More recent investigations suggest that the structure may have been much larger than this replica, possibly having an opening in the roof to allow smoke from the council fire to escape, which I believe is probably right. Benches like those here would have been in the perimeter to allow the seating for the delegates from each of the 8 districts. So you can imagine this is probably just a pup tent compared to the original. But nonetheless, it does show something great. And it's pretty awesome. I feel like I'm not alone here. I feel like there's other people here standing around watching me. And I hope I'm doing them justice. Y'all come back and see me at Cabins Corner 72 on my little historic ride of the Indian culture. It's super cold out here, the wind's blowing, and I'm freezing to death. Y'all come back and see me. Y'all be good.